think is a reasonable thing for them to say. And of course, if a mixed-use development goes on this property, and let's say apartments were on the second or third floor, the developer would have to go to the state at that point in time, present their plans, and get specific permission to alter this restrictive covenant to allow that residential use.
Because of potential vapors. Correct.
That is exactly right. So it just affects a little bit of the property. Anyway, so no second or third story apartment use without the state's okay. And they have asked me to record this instrument and the restrictive covenant that they sent to us as part of the approval, comfort letter approval. And I'm just getting the commission's okay as chair to go ahead and sign that instrument, have it recorded, and this will be 100% wrapped up.
Question the motion?
Yes, please.
I'll make the motion to provide for our Redevelopment Commission president to sign and record necessary documents for the covenants.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Aiken and a second by Mr. Van Leer to authorize the chair, Ben Comer, to sign the state's restrictive covenant document and to record. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. I will do just that. And we'll circulate to this board as well as the state, so they have a recorded copy for their file, and this will be officially completed.
Great.
Okay, moving on then for items for discussion. As you know, we are the proud new owner of 195 East Main Street. As a critical piece in that intersection for future redevelopment in our economic development area. And because it's a 4-unit apartment building, we need a property manager. We have a contract proposed to us in our file, a management contract to handle the tenants, maintenance, all those sorts of things on this property. And I'm opening up the floor for discussion. We know that the amount requested in the contract is different from what was discussed at the January meeting, so we can go back to the manager and ask for that edit. And if they are unwilling to do so, I suppose I'll report back next month.
So is the 12% what they,
Yes.
what Wright was requesting?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't think there was communication.
Oh, that's fine. I was just curious how,
Yeah.
we got the two figures, we came up with one, they came up with another, and we
Right.
just need to say whether we want to change
Right.
our motion.
I'm going to, well, and that's a good question. I'm going to ask them to come down to 10%, but my question for you all is, what if the answer is no? You know, do we have authority to go up to 12%?
Do you need a motion for that?
Probably so.
I make a motion that we can go up to 12% for the fee for Wright Realtor to manage the property.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Linda Monk and a second by Gary Aiken to approve the Wright Realtor maintenance contract up to 12%. Any discussion?
Mark, could you summarize what he just said? I didn't catch any of that, really.
So when the proposal was brought before the commission last month, when I talked to Lisa and had talked to Tim Wright, Tim had kind of alluded that it would be around 10%. I don't know that he gave me a locked-in stone number, And then when the contract came in, it states 12%. And so what the motion that's been made is that chair of the committee will approach Wright Realtors and ask them to go to 10%. If not, the committee has authorized the chair to go ahead and go to 12%.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll, yes, if he said, but I'll approve or vote for that too, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. Next item for discussion is the concept of executive meetings. Mark, could you enlighten us on what that phrase means?
Well, in the state of Indiana, there are 13 options that you can utilize for executive sessions. And I don't know that anything that this body could do that would warrant that. Gary, I'm going to defer to you. You've got a lot more expertise in this area.
The only thing under the 13 that I'm aware of in my mind is economic development negotiations. If we have someone that comes in and they want to use that property, purchase the property, or we can negotiate with them the sale of that property in executive session.
I'll be happy to research that some more.
But they're all right there in that certain area of the statute. And yeah.
So
kinda.
it's a particular property, not just properties in general.
Property dealing with the Redevelopment Commission.
But it's on like a case-by-case basis? Like if somebody, you're talking about a particular property?
A particular property.
Negotiating terms of a particular transaction.
That's for the council, that's for the RDC, any purchasing body.
Like I said, I'll be happy to send that to our legal and double check.
If you would, we don't have anything pressing, but it would be nice to know if that's at our disposal in the future, if and when the opportunity would arise.
Yep.
The reason why that becomes so important is that when you make out your public notice will specify for posting purposes as to why the body is meeting in executive session. And you list the statute that governs executive meetings and then that particular item.
So we predominantly use these for employee discipline, for hiring practices, for lawsuits. Those are probably our three biggest uses of executive session.
You're absolutely right.
So just general brainstorming, which we talk about, all the time. Forward, what's our plan here or there, all has to be done in a public session then.
I think that's a good suggestion. Check with council and their interpretation of those different reasons, because it could be a little broader. I don't think you can go behind closed doors and just have a general brainstorming session. However, when you are talking about the transaction of a specific piece of property, and the board is thinking about how much we're going to offer for that property, not have to take that initially out into the public so that you have a fair and honest bid to an individual, would seem like it would be good to get an opinion whether that's allowable or not.
Agreed.
Excuse me, Dr. Schaefer, but back in the day, the statute was amended and changed and corrected. There were actually times when school boards across the state of Indiana would be in a meeting, a controversial subject, and all of a sudden the president just gavels, said, we're going executive session. No public notice, nothing else. And so they thought they should get a tighter rein on that. So,
Yeah,
a little bit of history.
Yeah, I'm familiar with executive sessions. What I'm not familiar with are the open door laws the exact same ones for school boards as they are for town councils, redevelopment commissions. So that's why I would want to look at,
I think
have council research
I
that.
think there's some difference there.
There may be.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll be happy to,
Can't tell
I've
you.
got some questions into Jewel right now, so I'll just pile them on top of that. So we're going to pay them the same either way.
Okay, that works for me. And like I said, we don't have anything pressing
Okay?
on that, so we will just wait for your report back. Sound good?
Yep, sir.
Moving on then to section 4, reports. Just start with Mark on anything you would like to update us on.
I wanted to see if the commission had any interest, let me digress. Are you familiar with AIM, the Accelerated Indiana Municipalities? It used to be IACT. They now have an RDC component. I just learned about it yesterday. They have a component for town managers, one for mayors, clerk treasurers. And I was at a board meeting yesterday, and they discussed that they now have a component for redevelopment commissions. And so my question is before I do a lot of legwork, would this body be interested in me researching the possibility of this commission joining that body? I'm sure there'll be an annual membership, just like there is. I pay for one. I think the clerk pays for one. The town pays one as a whole. When they were discussing this yesterday, probably what intrigued me the most was that they've produced a video to explain how TIF works. So it might be a tool that we could utilize when, other entities come in and ask us, have you done this? Do you do what's TIFing? So it's just food for thought. And like I said, if this body, if I have consensus, I'll be happy to research it. If it's not something you're interested in, it'll end just as soon as this tape recording does.
I think it's
I'd
beneficial.
be interested, Mark. If it's not too much work for you, I'd be interested.
Yeah. Fortunately, I sit on their board of directors, so I've got a little bit of insight on that, so I'd be happy to see if I could talk to Becca up there and see if she could provide me the documentation, and then I can forward it to the body, and you guys can have a look at it.
Definitely.
In most of the larger communities across the state, they have a director for the redevelopment commission.
Right.
We take advantage of Lisa and Mark, staff, but these redevelopment executive directors attend conferences. They'll go out of state. And so, it's not lucrative, but it's an opportunity to learn what's going on. They usually have a conference every year in Indianapolis, I think.
Right.
I don't think they've rotated a great deal.
Not a whole lot that I know of.
But it's good because it's a place that we can go and garner information if we need to, or send staff.
I will look into that and forward any information I find. Thank you very much.
Is that all
Thank
you
you,
have?
Mark.
You what?
Is that all you have
Yes,
for
sir.
us? Thank you very much.
Yep.
Dr. Schaefer?
I don't think I have anything, except in reading through the material, it did show that they worked on that piece of property on East Main Street back in 2011. I think they finally shut it down in 2015. So I'm impressed with my memory. They did do something with it.
Are you kidding? Let me just tell you a quick story about Gary Aiken's memory. Gary will say, Mark, you might check the desk drawer here, and you might find this, and he's not been wrong once. I mean, I don't know how he remembers that he had it 6 files back on this drawer, but every time he tells me something, it's right there.
That's great.
Well, that's like the state told us that we couldn't use the hillside out at Phi Delta Kappa Way for public notice, PSAs, or election signs. And when 36 came through and condensed down to one lane right there, they had to build that cul-de-sac for Phi Delta Kappa. And they dedicated it to the town of Danville. Well, Mark was sent out a memo or something saying that the state says, no, can't use that hillside for anything, that's our right of way. I don't think so.
Still trying to find that, just so you know.
Yeah. Let's hope it didn't disappear
Yeah,
someplace.
that's, yeah. Sometimes things walk away, but yeah, I've been how do I say, fishing through laserfish.
Yeah. Gotcha. So anyway,
Okay.
but I think it's important to them right now because they're wanting to do an improvement project down there. Right?
To us? Yeah, we actually, we built a banner holder. I mean,
Yeah.
we spent a lot of money to build this banner holder to clean that hill up. And alls we did was, I don't know if it's a mistake or a good thing, we checked with the state and said, hey, do you mind if we put this in? We won't concrete it, it'll be removable if we need to. And that's when they said, no, we don't think you can do that anymore.
The state has an intersection improvement project going on down there. Okay?
Not yet, but I know what you're talking about. But right now, everything's been pushed back, unfortunately. They're supposed to be redoing 36 all the way. All been pushed back. It's been interesting to watch how the state and IMPO do not work together very well.
I know.
I'm like, you two do know you're supposed to be on the same side, but, you know, it's another
Money.
story.
It's money.
Yeah. I apologize.
Ms. Monk?
Once again, would like to thank the DPW because, and it doesn't really refer to us, but just the fact that I want all the citizens to know if there's a problem, you know, with anything with the roads, with shoveling, with, you know, plowing, all that stuff. All you need to do is contact them and they will respond. And that's very comforting to know, and we just need to give them a lot of credit for everything they do. So, thanks.
I agree. They're great.
They are.
I have one thing. I had a citizen reach out to me and just pitch me a reference to a Senate bill number 361, Mark,
Okay. Indiana Senate bill? Okay.
which relates to innovative development districts and funding opportunities to attract new business. So I think it's something, if we can, look into as funding opportunity for our efforts, and it may relate to the chamber as well.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say. You may want to check with the chamber.
They usually send out
Yeah, they just did.
updates on those, yeah.
Just to make sure we're tapping all sources for available funds.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Tell you another one we're watching is the state is dipping their fingers, I guess, so to speak, into doing TIFs themselves. And
Into what?
Huh?
Into what stuff?
They're exploring the option of TIF districts themselves. And there's a great deal of concern through AIM and local government that the state will create a TIF district, which the understanding, they want to bring in the Toyota, the Nissan, whatever, these big factories. But the problem is with the current wording, it provides no dollars for wherever the location is to provide infrastructure, to provide police, to provide fire, water, sewer, the whole thing. So we're very concerned about it, and it's kind of a double-edged sword because if you've ever watched the legislature, one of the things they love to attack every year is TIF. I don't know why, but they just think that
That came about through a senator from Noblesville.
that's right. But there's no logical reason for it. You know, TIF is a good thing, but he didn't seem to think so. And they've gotten some footing from others. There's been one down south that's really attacked it and the use of the TIF money. But where we're thinking, where we're seeing this as a double-edged sword, at least the state is looking favorable on TIF because they now see a benefit. We just hope that they'll rethink this process and not exclude us if they do TIF, you know, say the Edmondson property or whatever.
The state needs to keep their nose in Washington DC for money.
Yes, sir.
Stay away from local government and
Yeah.
and encroaching upon our responsibilities as well as home rule.
Right.
It's just, oh,
What is it, replace, don't erase?
right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that will do it. I just want to thank you all again for your time and service to the community. Greg.
One of my responsibilities in sitting as his chair is to remind the chair or the council president, we have people on electronically if you'd like
Thank
to
you.
invite them for comment.
I did space over that. Mr. Van Leer, hello again.
Hello.
Forgot
Hey,
about you there for a second.
I didn't really have anything anyway, so I was okay being skipped. So appreciate it. Thank you.
You want to ask Mr.
Gloves,
Glover?
you got anything?
I do not, Mark. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, with that, I do want to thank everybody again for your service to the community and what we're trying to accomplish here. With that, I'm going to adjourn our meeting. Thanks, everybody.